loud is it? Should be good. Right then. Right. I feel like I might bell end doing this on the treadmill in the gym, but you know, it's got to be done. Right then, so I'm going to go over my thoughts, review basically of the Irish Open from the weekend, while I do a little bit of incline walking. I'm going to drag this out for as long as I can because I don't want to actually start running. So I'll start at the start of last week. I woke up about 95 kilos. My anxiety was really fucking high, and I was just trying to sabotage myself for the competition. Like, I was really close to like 93 kilos at the end of last weekend, and then just for whatever reason anxiety hit and I just started binging on cakes, and we're talking like 5,000-6,000 calorie days, like not good. So then I had a bit of work to do. I really wanted to make 93 just for myself, you know. Like, part of my training has been focused on body composition, so it was down towards that. I didn't want to do it with a cut, but I had to towards the end. So I was drinking 8 to 10 litres of water from Monday to make this weight. Cut me water, had about 6 litres on the final day before the weigh-in, so like Friday, and I stopped drinking at about 5-6 o'clock. Low calories, low salt, just pushing out as much water as I could. I weighed myself. Whoa. I have to keep it in my hands now. I weighed myself on Friday when I got into the competition, and expected I was 94.4 on the competition scales the night before, so I didn't expect too much of an issue with it. So the next day I was going to have a little bit of breakfast, but I opted against it. Had a couple of cups of coffee instead, and when I got on the scales I was 93 on the dot, so it's probably a good thing that I didn't have any breakfast. You know what, when I actually got the actual competition, like, I wasn't nervous at all. I was having a really good time, having a load of fun, fucking about the way I normally do, but there was just no pressure whatsoever, and it was really nice. So warming up for squats felt really good. Like, my hips, as I'm getting older, they take a little bit of warming up, so I had to do quite a fair bit of hip warming up, but that was all right. We opened up with 245. Yeah, 245 easy. Next attempt so on the 245, like, it's weird, right? So I need to do a video on this, but basically the way I'm squatting right now is the same way I was when I was 105, and obviously I had a bit of a belly, bigger legs, so my leverages were sort of good for that squat. But now that I've brought my feet a bit, now that I've kept my feet a bit wider and just my limbs are a bit smaller and I haven't got as much of a belly to push out against, like, my hips are rising very early into the squat, but I only had 7 weeks to prepare, and I didn't want to learn how to squat with my feet so close, so I just thought I'm just going to keep doing the same thing as what I have been doing and just go a little bit more conservative on the attempt selection. So I hit 245, then I think 255 or 252, I can't remember, but I think it was 255, and then we went 260 for the last one. So if you look at each of the attempts, I do manage to hold the shape all right, like my back stays flat and everything, but it's just the hips rise, come back a little bit too much. It's almost a little bit like a good morning, and I just knew that the more weight that I put on each attempt, the worse that was going to get. And I wanted the lifts to be as clean as possible, you know, like, I practice what I preach. I'm always going on about clean reps, so it would have been a little bit like hypocritical of me to put too much weight on the bar and just go for the fucking glory of like a triple bodyweight squat or something like that. I might have been able to do that on the day, to be fair, but I don't like it unless they're pretty, you know. Unless I'm in a situation where I have to do something for a win, I'm not going to take any risks like that. And I was a guest lifter in Ireland, I'm not Irish, so I couldn't win, so what's the fucking point? Right, when I did 260, even though it wasn't that hard, it was still the heaviest that I've lifted by a mile. So the heaviest I've been in the gym is 240 for one single, and I think the heaviest triple I hit was 230. So, like, you know, we're talking quite a bit extra weight. And when I did it, even though it wasn't that uncomfortable, it wasn't that hard, I was exhausted and I knew I was in for a pretty hard day. So then bench comes around, I increased my bench opener. I was originally going to start on 145, and then I opted to go for a 150 instead. I was hoping to finish around about like 165, something like that. So we went 150 for the first one, moved like a dream, absolutely fine. But because again, I'm out of practice with bench and heavy and stringing together lots of volume, I went up to 10, and honestly, if that was 11 kilos extra, that wouldn't have went up. My word, that was as hard as the 212.5 that I benched at Worlds in 2017 in Belarus. Like, that was just as hard, but obviously 50k less. So, but it was nice to know that I can still grind it and stay composed enough to not let the bar travel downwards and then finish it off. Like, if you look at the bar, it does stay level and then keep rising and rising and rising. I was surprised I didn't have to scream to get it out, because it really was hard as fuck. But like, it was really, like, my face just didn't change at all, and it was just like, so yeah, that was good. And then I was destroyed after that, so tired. And luckily we had an A, B and a C group in the competition, so like I had to wait for 2 lots of deadlifts before I was deadlifting after bench press. So I had a little walk around the venue, I found a massage table, and I went to bed for like 45 minutes, then got up and then got ready for deadlift. And I think if I hadn't done that, I might have had to drop my opener on deadlift. So we warmed up to a 270 for the last lift, and then on the platform I went 290 for the first one. It felt smooth, it was a little slow, but I definitely thought there was like 20 more in there for a 310, and like I've set myself a target of hitting a 320 deadlift this year, so I've got till December to do that. So I was really hopefully trying to get that on this day, but I was just fucked. It just wasn't there. So hit 290, that was good. So still haven't bombed in a competition, which is nice. And then went for 310. So I've had this little issue with the bar getting away from my legs at the start. And it's a combination of setting up a little bit too close and also dropping my hips too low. So when I do that, to overcompensate the hips, to overcompensate, I've kind of been like pushing the bar away, and then it's just, I've had to pull it back in. So on the second attempt, I really try to stay as controlled as possible, and at the expense of sacrificing a little bit of speed at the start. And just, there was nowhere near enough acceleration on the bar to finish the lift off. So the third time around, I spent, fucking hell, 2 or 3 minutes getting hyped. And then went for it, was twerking like fuck. We went for it, we went for the pull, got it a lot higher this time, but it just wasn't there. So just need to work on tightness, but I'm not upset about that lift at all, because it means that my hook grip is working. Like, I didn't drop it, I just couldn't stand up with it. And you know, like, obviously I would have liked to have taken the lift, but I'm just made up that my hook grip is still there, because I'm telling you, like, my grip was the only thing stopping me from being world champion. Well, and my fucking stupid head. But what I mean by that is, like, as long if I can keep a hold of the bar, I can pull 350, 360. It'll take some time getting back to those kinds of numbers, but I've done it a couple of times in the gym, so there's no reason why I can't be working towards that and really actually becoming one of the best deadlifters in the world. I know that sounds stupid because of like how many times I have dropped deadlifts, but I swear to God, I am one of the best deadlifters in the world, and I'm gonna prove that shit. Right, I think that's everything. All in all, I had a really good time at the competition. Like, it was just a good laugh. Like, it was just everyone over in Ireland so nice. I want to thank SBD for still giving me kit, even though I'm like not really in the sport at the minute. Like, it means a lot to know that you still supporting me for everything. Barry Piggott, the man, the myth, the legend, just kept me laughing all day. He was handling us. He's just an absolute bellend, and that's why we get on, because I am too. Arthur Lynch, best roomie in the world. Legitimately thought it was going to be the most awkward 2 days of my life, but it ended up being fucking mint. We had some really good conversations, so I don't know what that says about me, but I probably am just as awkward as Arthur. Rob Burke, again, what a guy. President of the Federation, bringing us over. Just whatever I needed, you made sure I had, and you know, it just means a lot. Like, everybody in the Federation who helped out and just came and had a chat, offered words of support. It was a really, really good weekend, and I really hope that I can get out there again, even if I'm not planning on becoming a competitive powerlifter again. I still feel like I've got a place in the sport, I still feel like I'm relevant. I can win whatever I want, whenever I want. Slowly but surely we'll get there. But I'm not coming back properly until I know I can handle the pressure and just not put so much pressure on myself, you know? Like, I've got a really full life now, and I didn't necessarily have a full life when I was going through all this shit. And now that, like, I've put things into perspective by taking a step back, and I realise how much more there is to life than how much you can fucking squat, bench and deadlift. So we'll see what happens in the future, but I'm in high spirits. I don't remember the last time I actually trained by Tuesday after competing on a Saturday, so that's always nice. And I'm just taking it slow. Gonna do another 7 minutes here, so I've hit 20 minutes of incline walking. I'll hit some intervals, I'll do some runs on a flat. So this week is focusing on getting my 6-minute mile boxed off and my 20 pull-ups boxed off, so I can never step foot on a treadmill again, and I can start the bulk. I'm gonna be fucking jacked. Right, I'm bored now. Bye.